What is your take on AI?
We as agencies, if we want to survive, if we want to thrive, we have to be on the forefront of AI. In the US specifically, there are 400 some thousand law firms. You can bring them one lead, if you can bring them one case, usually that case is within thousands, if not tens of thousands, and sometimes a 6-7 figure payout.
Ivan Vislavskiy, the CEO and co-founder of Commodore Digital Marketing Agency, is a search engine whiz who's been rocking it since 2007. His team is all about SEO, paid search, and tackling tough niches like legal and home services. From starting with 3 employees to scaling across cities, he has killer stories and strategies to share.
In your experience, what are some of the common digital marketing mistakes businesses make, and how do you feel they can avoid them?
You need to have a 12-month budget allocated for marketing. If you don't, there's a good probability that you're going to miss out. You're not going to get that leverage. You're not going to get that positive ROI on the marketing investment.
What strategies you feel have worked for your business to kind of scale it now and then have your presence across cities now?
We're approaching a point where we'll be a 100-person agency fairly soon. It's not the goal to be a 100-people agency because with that comes a huge, great responsibility. The goal is to be profitable. The goal is to be
E-coffee with experts.
Hey, Ivan, how's it going?
Hey, Ramey, very good. Very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Lovely. Ivan, before we move any forward, let's get to know the human behind the mic. You have been in this space since 2007. Talk us a bit about your journey thus far and also a bit about your agency. What do you guys do? What do you guys specialize in? And we take it from there.
Sure. I'll give you my very quick bio. So I guess how I started my own agency, I always knew that I would eventually own my own business. Early on, while working on digital marketing industry, I worked for various agencies, and I guess it was right there. And then I realized that I wanted to build something of my own, something that can reflect my vision, my values, my approach to business. I guess I also wanted to have a freedom to create my own processes, my own culture, my products, hire people that I like to work with, and truly foster that culture that sort of aligned with closer to who I am, right? If you ask my friends, people know me as, can describe me as very energetic, sort of very upbeat individual. So I wanted to build a company that would be, that would resemble my personal qualities per se. So the opportunity to start the agency really came around 2007 when I had a few friends in my network that reached out to me for various side projects. And as I completed those projects with utmost care, and provided, I believe, phenomenal results to them, they started referring me to other people, and word of mouth sort of grew, and more people started coming to me, asking me for those side projects while I was still employed at other marketing agencies. I think it was right around 2011 when we already had 3 full-time employees working on this business, when it became clear that this could be more of an actual established business. And so I took a leap of faith, and I quit the agency and went full in to work on my agency. Sorry, does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And also, if you could let our audiences know, what do you guys specialize in? What are your core offerings?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, so we're a digital marketing agency. We're truly a search engine marketing specialist. So search is our specialty. Within digital marketing, the main vehicles of how we generate results for our clients is SEO, both local and nationwide, paid search, website as a tool to build online presence. And then depending on the industry, we can also include email marketing and social media marketing where necessary. We, being a generalist agency since the beginning, but about 6 years ago, we started specializing, and mainly we specialize in legal, home services, and we're now just opening a separate healthcare space as well. We still have a small concentration of clients in healthcare. We're trying to grow that pretty aggressively.
Lovely. Glad you mentioned about legal marketing. I mean, it kind of gets tricky at times. So how do you feel it kind of, different from the other industries or niches out there?
Yeah, so I can give you my perspective based on the difference of legal versus home services per se, because we have most of our clients concentrated in 2 spaces. In legal, most of our points of contact are actual attorneys that run the business. We mostly work with small businesses, right? So anywhere from 1 partner with the staff to 10 partners, maybe 20 partners is probably the biggest law firm that we work with. And every partner we work with is a very smart individual. Obviously, they passed the bar exam. They've been through 6, 7, 8 years in school, toughest schools in the U.S., right, to complete the education. So they're very smart, very detail oriented. So nothing is going to fly through their nose, through their eyes, without them first seeing it and controlling it. I think that's the biggest differentiation. When we work with home service business owners, they don't care. Like, you can post any content you want. You can talk about anything. All they care about is my phone call. Am I getting more phone calls? Am I getting more leads or not? Am I closing more customers? With law firms, there's definitely this regulation aspect. They're also very cautious about what you write and how you position the business, how you position the law firm. Things like you cannot use words like expert or best or specialist and so on, because it could get them in trouble very, very quickly. So we actually have separate writers, separate copywriters for law firms versus home services and other industries. So it is very different. And the space is very competitive because law firm space is very lucrative. I think legal is the biggest concentration of the marketing agencies when it comes to it than any other industry. Reason being, in the US specifically, there are 400 some thousand law firms of a specific space that we've identified, and they're all very much marketable. So agencies do want that piece. And then also, if you can bring them one lead, if you can bring them one case, usually that case is within thousands, if not tens of thousands, and sometimes like 6-7-figure payouts. So if you can generate results, you'll be rewarded handsomely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then talking about, what not to do. In your experience, what are some of the common digital marketing mistakes businesses make, and how do you feel they can avoid them?
Yeah. So over the years, I've seen small businesses make several mistakes. I guess I'll try to outline the biggest ones. Let's see. I guess I'll start with not having the long-term marketing budget and plan in place. And I'm only speaking from my experience, right? We've seen prospects come to us thinking that we can generate results within a couple months, and those results will already pay for the marketing investment that they'll make. That's usually not the case, because if you're a small business, assuming that you're a small business, what happens is your marketing footprint is nowhere to be found. You probably don't have the land visibility. And in order to be successful, you need to compete with much bigger companies, right? That already have the foundation, that have been doing marketing for quite some time. They've been investing in marketing. So they figured this out. How do you compete with them? Well, you have to catch up, or you have to do things better. So you have to invest. So we usually tell our prospects that, look, you need to have a 12-month budget allocated for marketing. If you don't, there's a good probability that you're going to miss out. You're not going to get that leverage. You're not going to get that positive ROI on the marketing investment. So that'd be first. Also, to add to that, under investing in digital marketing, which is quite huge. Some of our prospects come to us and be like, well, I have a $500 per month budget on marketing. What can you do with that? Well, and the space would be legal, for instance, or it would be like some roofer, where it's super competitive. And the reality is, the truth is, it just, digital marketing requires resource. An average agency in the US charges somewhere around $150, $180 per hour. So with that small budget, you're only getting, maybe a couple hours of work, or you get in cookie cutter service. Right, that will not position you as a better alternative to whatever is out there in the market. So that also, I guess, hiring the wrong people, freelancers or agencies. We've seen too many times when prospects come to us already burn out because they tried 2, 3, 4 different agencies or freelancers. And they paid them some money, but nothing happened. Like, no result. The website looks horrible. No clients. They just wasted completely, this marketing budget. So they're already coming to us with sort of position of, can you truly help me, because I've been burned in the past. So yes, there are marketing agencies that have, do phenomenal work, but they will cost more, because true proper marketing costs money. We even have this tagline, no BS marketing, which is, bullshit marketing, right? Because bullshit BS marketing is usually does not generate results. Next, not tracking or properly understanding marketing data, marketing trends. Many business owners that come to us also want to, they want a simple answer, like, is my marketing working or not? they're not willing to go in depth. They're not willing to take situation control and truly understand, truly analyze data with the agency or with the freelancers they work with. Like, hey, my campaign's working. What's my cost per lead? What's my cost per acquisition? How many leads am I getting? Is my marketing generating positive ROI or not? Like, what am I investing and how much return do I get back? And I guess final would be spreading too thin into too many marketing campaigns and marketing channels, right? Especially if you're a small business, your budget is probably, very limited. So I would definitely encourage you to focus only on two things. If our prospects will come to us and be like, we want social media, we want email marketing, we want SEO, we want PPC, we want this, we want that, blah, blah, blah. How much budget do you have? Well, $2,000. Okay, good luck with that, because you're not going to be able to master all those channels with such a limited budget. So we always encourage them to stick to maybe one or two channels that would be most ideal for your industry and master them. And only when you can master them, only invest the budget increase the budget, invest in other channels as well. I guess those would be, what am I, 4 or 5 things. Those would be the biggest challenges that usually prospects come to us.
Talking about mastering something, you have kind of really scaled it up. Touch wood, I'm sure you're going to see more success in the coming years, but as an agency, you have scaled to multiple locations now, Chicago, Miami, Austin, and so, for agency owners listening to us today, what strategies, you feel have worked for your business to kind of scale it now and then have your presence across cities now?
Yeah, so we're approaching the point where we'll be 100-person agency fairly soon. It's not the goal to be 100-people agency, because with that comes a huge, great responsibility. The goal is to be profitable. The goal is to be properly growing and enjoy what we do day after day, right? But we were sort of lucky in some instances, we're unlucky in some other instances. We're constantly learning from our mistakes. But I guess dedication to be the best at what we do definitely helped us scale up. We were always trying to do good and trying to be very reasonable and be very transparent with our clients. And that led us to getting a lot more testimonials and reviews and endorsements from our clients that helped us secure many other clients. So if you go to many of our review places, Google and so on, Clutch has been one of them. You'll see that there are a lot of phenomenal results, phenomenal reviews and testimonials from real clients that speak for themselves. So that makes it a lot easier. We also have very phenomenal case studies that try to highlight that what we do is really expertise, right? So when someone comes to us, we can clearly show them that we already did this for for other businesses in very similar situation, very similar business, and look at what kind of result they generated. Obviously, without breaking any NDAs and so on. But in general terms, we built a platform, we built like a deck that shows the percentages of increase and so on. So trying to be a true specialist in what we do, and I guess sharing our thought leadership, sharing a point of view on what makes us best, whether it's our website, whether it's podcast, whether it's our social, was also very, very helpful. Most of our prospects nowadays that help us grow come from the power of our own SEO and word of mouth. That's literally the biggest driver for scale. That's on the front side of the business. Back side of the business, one of the core values that we have is we innovate every 90 days. We're better every 90 days because we're trying to improve our processes. We're trying to automate a lot of what we do on a daily basis so that our margins could be even better, so that we can invest more and more money into helping our clients be better or seeing better results. What else? And I guess great team that's been around for quite some time, that's been spearheading a lot of what we do. I'm no longer in day-to-day activities. I'm fortunate enough to be more working on building the business versus in the business, which is exceptionally helpful. And when you get up in the morning, when you love your job, that's the best motivator there is.
Absolutely. And then finally, Ivan, what is your take? I mean, you have seen enough summers and winters now, enough Google updates, and then enough shifts in the industry at large, right? What is your take on AI in general? I mean, obviously, it was there before November 2022, like people think it wasn't, but it was always there, right? And it's going to stay for sure. But how do you think it has storm the industry? And where do you think are we heading with all this AI tools and, evolution that we are in?
Yeah, that's a really hard question. It's hard for me to predict where we're going to be in 5 years because it changes every year.
Yeah.
But I definitely know that our industry is going to be disrupted like no other space. I think we're probably going to be in forefront to see what AI can do to our business. But there's speculation and suspicion that the way how users research information, like user behavior, user search will change with AI, right? With the addition of, Chat GPT search or Perplexity and other AI search engines per se, right? And there'll be no longer the same need for SEO, but we don't really know if that's going to be true or not. We don't know how well Google is going to sustain its database, its user base moving forward. It's at this point it's just speculation. But I do believe that we as agencies, if we want to survive, if we want to thrive, we have to be on forefront of AI. We have to be constantly evaluating, not just blindly trusting AI, not just letting AI all of a sudden write all the content or generate strategies for us or, have AI do the creatives for us. I don't think AI is still there, it's still developed to the point where it can create amazing concepts. I think AI is an amazing co-pilot that we all have to use in order to improve our efficiency and productivity. It's like an assistant, right, that we need to use. But we still have to be there. We still have to devise the strategies. We still have to create things. Definitely implement AI as much as possible. And that's what we do for automation, for simplifying a lot of what you do, for improving your bottom line, your efficiency. Because if you don't, it'll be really hard for you to compete with a lot of the larger agencies that are they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, to transform their agencies into fully AI-enabled agencies.
Absolutely. And then finally, your favorite client story. I'm sure there must be many.
You caught me by surprise. Favorite client story. You want a good one or a bad one? What's
a good one, obviously. Good one.
Good one. Okay. All right. So sure. In the legal space, there's a client out of San Francisco. They're estate planning, or not trustly, estate planning attorney. When they came to us, I want to say maybe 6 years ago, they were very skeptical because they tried someone in the past and they were like, I'm not sure if that's going to work out or not. And they also were very cautious about, writing about our writers generating all the content. So it's been 6 years. They've been sending us postcards every single Christmas, thanking us for all the relationship and for all the results we've generated for them. Since they started working with us, they tripled their law firm, hired a lot more attorneys. And our main attorney that hired us in the past, he's no longer working on the business. He's no longer actually doing the wills and trusts himself. He is building the business, which is quite exciting. And the reason why I would want to highlight this story, he clearly told us in one of the messages that it impacts not only their law firm, but it impacts the lives of everyone that's out there, that the families, the employees, the attorneys and their families, and the neighborhood that they're in, right? Because they're able to invest more in charities and so on. So that's quite powerful story to me, and definitely like to highlight that story.
Lovely. Good, Ivan. This has been a brilliant session, but before we let you go, I'd like to play a quick rapid fire with you. I hope you're game for it.
Let's do it.
All right. Your last Google search.
Don't use Google as much as ChatGPT. I can tell you what was my ChatGPT search.
Go ahead.
Draw a picture of a horse, black and white, that I can print so that my daughter can color it.
Okay. All right. Where do we find you on Friday evenings after office or after work?
Yeah, with my kids. Enjoying as much time at evening with my kids as I can.
Lovely. Favorite sport?
Hockey. Play it myself, not only watch it played.
All right. One thing about your agency which you would like to kind of change?
I'd like to become a much bigger agency. I have very big aspirations. So that's the thing I want to change.
Good one. All right. The last one will not go any further. What did you do with your first paycheck, Ivan? First paycheck of your life?
I spent it on groceries because it was so small.
All right. Perfect, Ivan. This has been a great session. I'm sure our audiences would have loved the insights you've shared. And for them, if they want to reach out to you, how do they do that?
Yeah, you can definitely check out my LinkedIn. I also now have a personal website, thanks to my marketing team, ivanvislavskiy.com. So all the information is out there. It's really easy to find me. Ivan Vislavskiy. There's I and Y at the end. .com. And Renmei, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this session, and hopefully we'll continue talking and have each other on maybe other podcasts.
Absolutely. It was a real pleasure, Ivan. Thank you so much. Cheers, man.
All right. Thanks.